Welcome back to Rush the Field, your one-stop shop for college football. Another week of off-season passes, and a lot of people are projecting Heisman winners, college football finalists. So we're going to kind of break down some of the news that's been going around and then give our feedback. One of the biggest developments, especially in the NIL, is Arch Manning, new NIL deal with Red Bull, $6.6 million, making him the highest paid college athlete of all time. Absolutely insane. And that alone kind of catalysts into the next topics of discussion, which is Heisman, college football finalists. But we're going to kind of break down our CFB winner predictions now. So I believe a lot of people can agree that the favorite to win this next coming year is going to be Penn State. And does that have anything to do with their new hire, defensive coordinator? Possibly, but it also could possibly just be because Penn State's been knocking on that door for a very long time. And this could be their year. But along with the favored, there's a lot of dark horse teams out there. Florida being a huge one. The development of DJ Lagway over the last year really kind of set the tone for him going into next year saying, okay, this is going to be my year, my coming out year. We just had an 8-win season. It's been a little bit since Florida fans have seen an 8-win season. But I do believe that Florida as a team, as a whole, can steer themselves into a playoff position fairly comfortably and give themselves a good run. And a lot of people also want to take a look at the college football playoff from last year. Arizona State being another big team that a lot of people are anticipating with the return of Sam Leavitt to be another playoff caliber team and are definitely favored to win the Big 12. Of course, you have teams up there like BYU that are also in that same bracket of outside the playoff cusp, Big 12 winner. Kind of just goes from there. I'm curious to see the development of the 12-team playoff system and if there's going to be any changes about auto bids, auto buys, and how teams are assigned to the playoff because there's a lot of discrepancy. A lot of people felt that there was a off balance of power in teams. And it was, especially so looking at Penn State's first-round playoff game against SMU, you kind of saw this imbalance of teams and their strength. And I think a lot of fans wanted to see a different playoff system emerge. Me personally, I feel that regardless of conference championships, you should be within the top 12. And the auto buy system should be for teams that are ranked 1 through 4. That way, teams like Arizona State and Clemson, going off an example from last year, don't get a playoff berth because of their subpar performance throughout the regular season. You can win your conference, that's fine, but you do have to be amongst the top 12 throughout the entirety of the year to receive a playoff berth. That is my personal opinion. I don't know if that's a favorable opinion at all. But I believe if you're ranked top 4, regardless of winning your division or not, look at Ohio State and Oregon. That was just, it's an imbalance of power. I'm not quite sure what happened to Oregon at the Rose Bowl, but that was a completely different team. Absolutely. Anyway, I digress a little bit. Let's continue to talk about our Heisman predictions. LSU's returning quarterback Garrett Nussmeier is favored to win the Heisman. Crazy enough. With a pretty good season last year, over 4,000 pass yards, 29 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He's got a completion rate of 64%. His best game is against Ole Miss, even though, despite throwing 2 interceptions, they did win that game. That was their best win of the season all year. QB rating of 80. I definitely believe that LSU, especially Brian Kelly, they've got a lot to work on. And that's not just talking about the fans, but it's a lot of pressure from their boosters, a lot of pressure to perform. LSU hasn't won an opening game in I can't tell you how many years. So you better believe all eyes are going to be on Brian Kelly game 1. And of course, the crowd favorite, Arch Manning, throwing for just under 1,000 yards. Didn't have a ton of play, of course, because Quinn Ewers was the primary quarterback for the Texas Longhorns. But within that under 1,000 yards. He threw 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So he's definitely got the resources available to him. Biggest question is, will Sark get over the hump by winning the SEC? Granted, it's not an easy division to win. I mean, last year was a little bit easier than prior years. Big Ten obviously dominated the sport last year. So I'm curious to see what happens in that regard, but I do believe Texas is favored to win the SEC, and I do have them winning the SEC. Georgia has got a lot to work on. Yeah, that's really it. And that wasn't a diss towards Georgia. I'm just referencing the teams that Texas lost to, and yeah, that came out of my mouth. So sorry for my Bulldog fans out there, but it is what it is. Mainly, it's been a lot of predictions, college football winners, Heisman winners, who's to look out for. My personal favorite to look out for would be DJ Lagway from the Florida Gators. I do believe that this team is on a uphill, and they're climbing, steady climbing, and I'm really happy to see what they can do, what they can accomplish. They always start out with a incredibly difficult schedule, so let's see if Billy Napier can really make something happen. I think he's got the pressure of his job, a little bit more security coming off of a winning season last year. And, I'm excited. It's college football all year round, regardless of what's going on. There's always something happening. And, yeah, as a fan and as an analyst of the sport, I'm excited. Quick wrap up for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time.